All right, today we're heading deep into the Amazon, a place we all think we know. But what if the river you see on a map is hiding a secret twin, flowing miles below the earth? What if I told you it can actually flow backwards, and that it conceals the ruins of an entire lost civilization? Yeah, this is a story of secrets, so let's get into it.
So, let's just start with this question. When you picture the Amazon, what do you see? It's probably a single massive river, right? Well, it turns out what we see on the surface is just the beginning of a much deeper, and honestly, a much stranger story.
To even start to understand the secrets hidden below, we first have to wrap our heads around the mind-boggling scale of the river we think we know. Its size is just so immense that it kind of defies what we normally even consider a river.
Okay, let's start with this number. Every single second, the Amazon pumps 29,000 cubic meters of fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, to give you an idea of what that looks like, that's enough to fill over 11 Olympic-sized swimming pools every single second. It is a truly unbelievable amount of water.
And that incredible flow, it has a massive global impact. This one river system is responsible for a full 1/5 of all the fresh water that enters the world's oceans. I mean, think about that for a second. One river, out of all the thousands on the planet, it pumps so much fresh water into the Atlantic that it actually lowers the ocean's salt level for hundreds of kilometers offshore. And this scale is it's deceiving. During the rainy season, the river can swell to 48 kilometers wide. That's about the distance from downtown LA to the beach. If you were standing on one bank, the other side would be completely over the horizon. So you can see why early explorers weren't just being dramatic. They genuinely thought they'd found a freshwater sea. It's why locals still call it the River Sea.
But its sheer size is just the beginning. The Amazon is a total shapeshifter. It changes its color, it changes its name, and, in one of its most bizarre displays, it even changes the direction it flows.
One of the most famous examples of this is the meeting of waters. This is where the dark, almost tea-colored Rio Negro meets the muddy, sediment-rich Amazon. And for kilometers, they flow side by side without mixing at all. It's not magic, it's just physics. The two bodies of water have totally different temperatures, speeds, and densities, so they just resist blending. Kind of like trying to mix oil and water on a colossal scale.
But the river's strangest behavior has to be this phenomenon called the pororoca. Twice a year, the Atlantic's tide is so powerful that it actually overpowers the river's current, forcing it to flow backward for hundreds of kilometers.
So here's how it works. During certain high tides, the Atlantic pushes inland with such incredible force that it creates this massive wave, a tidal bore, that surges up the river. This wave can be up to 4 meters high and travels for hundreds of kilometers inland, completely reversing the river's natural flow. It's so powerful and consistent that surfers literally travel from all over the world just to ride this single ocean wave deep in the heart of the jungle. So, we've seen the wonders on the surface, but the Amazon's biggest secret? It wasn't on the surface at all. Nope, it was hidden 4 kilometers straight down. For decades, scientists thought they had a pretty good handle on the Amazon basin's geology. But back in 2011, while they were analyzing data from these deep oil exploration wells, a team of geophysicists stumbled upon something that, well, it just shouldn't exist. They found another river, a vast, hidden waterway flowing in the same direction as the Amazon, but deep within the Earth's crust. They named it the Rio Hamza. And just look at this comparison. Where the surface river is, at its absolute widest, 48 kilometers across, the Hamza is estimated to be nearly 400 kilometers wide. It's a subterranean monster. Now, the crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't a river in a cave. Instead, you've got to think of it like a colossal underground sponge. The Rio Hamza is a slow-moving flow of groundwater seeping through porous rock. It moves incredibly slowly. We're talking millimeters per hour. But because it's so immensely wide, its total volume is just staggering. They discovered it by tracking tiny temperature changes deep underground, and it follows the path of the Amazon above like a silent shadow. Okay, so we found a secret river under the ground. Now let's travel back in time to uncover a secret that was hidden not by rock, but by trees. For hundreds of years, the accepted wisdom was that the Amazon rainforest was simply too dense, its soil too poor, and its environment way too challenging for large urban societies to ever take root. The jungle, everybody thought, always won. Well, what if that was completely wrong? New technology has allowed us to do the impossible, to digitally erase the jungle canopy and see the ground beneath it for the very first time. And what we found is completely rewriting the history of the Americas. Using a technology called LiDAR, which is kind of like radar but with lasers, archaeologists could map the forest floor from a plane right through the trees. And what they saw were the ghostly outlines of a massive, forgotten urban landscape. They found huge 22-meter-high earthen pyramids, complex canal systems, and a vast network of dead stray causeways connecting settlements. This wasn't just a handful of villages. This was a sophisticated, engineered society.
This civilization, which we now call the Cassirbay culture, thrived for centuries, reaching its peak around the year 1000 AD. They mastered their environment, building a thriving world right in the heart of the jungle. And then, sometime around 1400 AD, they just vanished. Their cities were abandoned and completely reclaimed by the very jungle they had once tamed.
So, when we ask that question again, is the Amazon just one river? The answer is a definitive no. It's a place of nested secrets. A river so large it was mistaken for a sea, with a ghost river flowing deep beneath its bed, all surrounded by a jungle that once concealed an entire civilization. The real takeaway here is that our understanding of both the natural and human history of the Amazon is really still in its infancy. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? For centuries, we thought we knew this place, but we were only ever seeing the surface. Now that technology lets us peer under the water, beneath the ground and through the trees, what other secrets are just waiting to be found? Thanks for watching The Explainer.